Hello and thank you for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Stay with us. President Sahle-Work Zewde received UN Assistant Secretary General and Coordinator for the Scaling Up Nutrition Sun Movement, Gerda Verburg, who's on a working visit to Ethiopia. Their discussion focused on food and nutrition, nutrition transformation, and the status of the Sekota Declaration implementation in Ethiopia. The Assistant Secretary General acknowledged government's commitment to implement nutrition projects and that she was particularly impressed by the strong coordination among relevant line ministries. She also requested if the president can be a national champion of nutrition. On her part, the president stated Ethiopia's interest to organize the UN Global Nutrition Summit in 2023. The 8th meeting of the Ethiopian and Russian Intergovernmental Commission on Economic, Scientific, Educational and Trade Cooperation is taking place in Addis Ababa. Addressing the meeting, Minister of Innovation and Technology Belete Molla called on Russian business communities to invest in Ethiopian various fields. Russian Ambassador to Ethiopia Yevgeny Terekin, for his part, said the meeting is aimed to explore ways on how to implement agreements the two countries have signed so far and cement trade and investment ties. Kasahun Chane reports.
The Ethio-Russian Intergovernmental Commission aimed at strengthening the bilateral relations and cooperation between our two countries in economy, science and technology, as well as education and trade. Belete Molla, the Minister of Innovation and Technology, noted that Ethiopia and Russia have long-standing and historic relations that go back centuries. He also noted that the people of the two great countries have benefited from spiritual and cultural ties that have served as excellent friendships that have grown stronger over time.
Thanks the Russian Federation to stand with Ethiopia in the face of our sovereignty yesterday and today. Ethiopia also acknowledged the Russian Federation as a partner of all times of national needs, particularly in the efforts to maintaining Ethiopia's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Ethiopia highly appreciates Russia's strong position and support, especially the support during the last 2 years in the United Nations Security Council meetings on Ethiopia is unforgettable. The government of Ethiopia is satisfied with the excellent relations between our two countries and underscores Russia's contribution to education, science, and national defense sectors. It is my firm belief that our shared vision and mutual trust for values of freedom, equality and mutual trust that hold us together could serve as a solid foundation for the future cooperation we envision to build a better future for the coming generation.
Ethiopia is a stunning country. Thus, Russian-Ethiopian relations will always be an interest of the two countries as a whole, the Russian side underscored.
We can say that the business contacts, investment ideas and innovative projects accumulated over the past 2 decades allow us to be confident that our cooperation will progressively develop. In recent years, Ethiopia has shown steady economic growth. Thanks to the economic and political reforms carried out by the country's authorities, improvement of the legal framework and introduction of best practices, there have been positive changes in the business climate of the country. The investment activities of Ethiopia is growing not only in traditional sectors, but also in the areas of such new areas as transport and energy infrastructure, manufacturing, mining, high technology and telecommunications.
Эфиопия красивая страна, и надеюсь, что будет возможность лучше узнать ваш город.
Ethiopia is a beautiful country, and I hope there will be an opportunity to get to know your city better.
Уже 3 года прошло с последнего заседания комиссии, и в российской повестке накопилось огромное количество вопросов.
3 years have passed since the last meeting of the Commission, and a large number of issues have accumulated on the Russian-Ethiopian agenda.
Хотел бы подчеркнуть, что отношения между нашими странами основаны на взаимном уважении, солидарности и дружбе.
I would like to emphasize that the relations between our countries are based on mutual respect, solidarity and friendship.
И насчитывают уже официально 124 года.
And have been going on for 124 years.
А исторически более 300 лет.
This is about 300 years from the historical viewpoint.
И это история дружбы и борьбы плечом к плечу.
And this is a history of friendship and struggle shoulder to shoulder.
The ACE Intergovernmental Ethiopia-Russia Commission aims to strengthen the long-standing bilateral trade and people-to-people ties by encouraging Russian investors to come to Ethiopia.
Despite a very cordial and historical relationship that the two countries are enjoying, the trade and investment volume is much less than the level expected. The two countries have a tremendous potential for trade and investment cooperation. It is the right time to convert opportunities to realities. Excellencies, the economic rejuvenations that have been taking place in Ethiopia are based on homegrown economic policy and massive reforms in all fronts. Ethiopia is now on the right track to achieve its vision and sustainable and green economic growth. In this context, I wish to invite Russian investors to take part in our development endeavors. Ethiopia's potentials in the manufacturing, mining, energy, agriculture and pharmaceutical sectors will provide ample opportunities for Russian businesses.
Deliberations on a wide range of bilateral issues of shared interest are anticipated to take place during a 3-day summit.
The government of Japan announced that it will provide a new humanitarian assistance package worth about $25 billion to Ethiopia through its partnerships with various international organizations. According to the statement of the Embassy of Japan in Ethiopia, the assistance will be implemented on 5 key focus areas. The statement indicated that of the allotted package, nearly $5.5 million will be allocated for food security and livelihood purposes. Japan will provide nearly $4 million to WFP to give life-saving nutritional treatment to 22,200 children aged 6 to 9 and 25,800 pregnant and lactating women in Afar, Amhara and Tigray regions. The second and third key focus areas that Japan's humanitarian assistance is allocated is for protection and emergency assistance activities and sexual and reproductive health and gender-based violence. According to the breakdown of the package, the 4th focus areas are mine action and human rights. The new Japanese humanitarian assistance package to Ethiopia is expected to be implemented in Japanese fiscal year 2022-23. Interpol says it would support Ethiopia's endeavors to fight against terrorism in the Eastern Africa region. The International Criminal Police Organization's Interpol, Regional Counter-Terrorism Node ISAF, and Europe branch, praising Ethiopia's outstanding role in fighting terrorism in the East African region, said it will support Ethiopia's endeavor in this regard. Tigist Arnis has the following account from the Ethiopian News Agency.
The 24th Eastern African Police Chief Cooperation Organization Annual General Meeting is underway in Addis Ababa, deliberating on trans-border crimes, human trafficking, illegal arms trafficking, and drug trafficking, as well as security challenges affecting the region. Approached by Ethiopian News Agency, Head of Branch Interpol Regional Counter-Terrorism, ISAF in Europe, Daniel Damjanovic, noted that the prevention of transitional terrorism is a mission of Interpol. Praising Ethiopia's outstanding role in fighting terrorism in the East African region, Damjanovic pledged that Interpol will give necessary support to the nation's endeavor in this regard.
We've conducted a number of operations over the past few years. Several operations were border control operations where we target we target the movement of terrorists using porous borders. So we work with the countries closely to provide Interpol tools and capabilities for them to be able to cross-check those entities and identify terrorists, identify other criminals. We also support countries' high-priority counterterrorism operations by providing technical support, and we will continue to do so. This is a very unique role for Interpol, and something that we should further encourage countries to do, to work with us closely and also look for additional opportunities.
As the world's largest police organization, Interpol has 195 member countries. He indicated that one of the anti-terrorist continental centers is located in Nairobi, Kenya. In this regard, he said that Interpol is working in the East African region where there is a threat of terrorism in partnership with pertinent customs, immigration, police and other institutions of the countries in the region.
One of the nodes has been set up in Nairobi to work closely with the national police units, but also with immigration, also with customs, and also with our regional partners such as IAPCO, to promote information exchange, to coordinate operational activities against counterterrorism, and also to build capacity in the region. And this is something that we have been doing over the past 5 years, and really looking forward to more cooperation and events such as the IAPCO AGM that bring agencies together is a great platform and great opportunities for us to work collaboratively on combating terrorism in the region.
Indicating that the countries in the region shared their experience in the fight against terrorism at the 24th Eastern African Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization meeting, he said that Ethiopia's experience is admirable.
Ethiopia has one of the biggest or the largest airports, a lot of passengers coming through. As we have seen from presentations, there is a solid level of threat here as well. So we will work closely with Ethiopia over the next 12 months to look at opportunities, joint opportunities, and I know that Ethiopian agencies are open to it. So I hope we can work very closely together and achieve some good results in Ethiopia as well.
According to him, Interpol has been working with Ethiopia in the fight against terrorism. The organization will continue its partnership with Ethiopia in a strengthened manner, he added.
ስፍስፍ የኔ ታካሽ የኔ ኩራት ጨለማዬን ምገፊ ደማቅ መብራት ካለሽበት ልደርስልሽ ያሳፈረስ እየጋለብኩ የሆንሽውን እያሰብኩት ከራሴ ጋር እያወራው ውለታሽን ልመልስል የምሰጠው አጣሁልሽ ሀገሬ ሆይ አበድሪኝ ሀገር ስሆን የምከፍልሽ ካለሽበት ልደርስልሽ ያሳፈረስ እየጋለብኩ የሆንሽውን እያሰብኩት ከራሴ ጋር እያወራው ውለታሽን ልመልስል የምሰጠው አጣሁልሽ
Welcome back. Federalism researchers noted that it is time to work harder to properly execute the federal system without violating democratic and human rights of Ethiopians. They also indicated that it needs to keep the balance between the identity of being Ethiopian and belongingness to ethnicity to resolve disputes observed in the country. Shagaw Yamatao has the following account.
The existence of multicultural, different languages and religions lays foundation for the establishment of multinational federalism system. However, improper implementation and misunderstanding of the federal system has caused challenges in our country, according to Haile Jesus Taye, Director General at the House of Federation, Center for Constitution and Federalism Training.
Federalism is an ideology. Its premise is human beings have their own and shared affairs. So federalism is a political system of governing these inextricably linked individual and communal issues. Overlooking it as a scientific system of administration, some people associate it with a certain political party and distort the concept to the people. Some even might think of federalism as a divisive system of government administration. But federalism is essential when we think of living together.
They also noted that it is misleading to consider the federal system as human rights violator in the implementation of Ethiopian constitution. However, if the system is abided by the rule of law, the federal system is key instrument to resolve disputes over the identity of being Ethiopian and belongingness to ethnics and federal and regional governments, as to the researchers.
We need to keep the balance beyond the identity of Ethiopianism and nationalism. It is proved in some studies that nationalism has great place than Ethiopianism. We have to redress that, keeping the balance beyond the two.
The researchers urge the regional governments to defend the rights of citizens living in that area and discharge their legal responsibilities.
Respecting the rights of citizens living in one particular region and giving a right to choose the leader does not affect that regional government. There is the idea of federalism, promoting living together and building one country. Their rights should be respected as they are minorities.
Discussions are key options to settle the current Ethiopian disputes and differences observed in the country on the identity of Ethiopianism and nationalism.
Strengthening solidarity and unity is said to be critical while observing the 17th Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day. Preparations are well underway to observe the Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day in Hawassa town, state of Sidama. Haptamu Ashagri has more.
Ethiopia is a land of origin with various culture, identity, as well as vast experience. The nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day has been observed over the past 17 years. The 1995 Constitution clearly declares observing the Nations Day is vital to share heterogeneous cultural diversity among Ethiopians. It was learned. Addis Ababa has been inviting all representatives and hosted the first Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day on December 8, 2006. Hereafter, the nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day has been observed by different regions over the past 16 years. Talking to ETV, Speaker of House of Federation Secretariat Head Zaleka Temasgen said, observing the Nations Day is critical.
Ethiopia is the owner of heterogeneous culture. Observing the nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day is expanding vast experience among nations and nationalities. It is also important to promote colorful Ethiopia to the rest of the world. We are also working to create awareness about our constitution too.
While observing the Nations Day over the past 16 years, according to Zaleka, further activities are needed to embolden the Nations Day.
We are focusing on hammering our differences rather than in capitalizing the unity among Ethiopians. This costs us a lot. When we see our Constitution Article 88 sub-Article 2, the government has a mandate to strengthen relations among nations, nationalities and peoples of Ethiopia. Unfortunately, we have been investing on our differences over the past couple of years. So, we are working hard to regain the good pictures of Ethiopia.
Based on the House of Federation has held research before the 17th Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day, most Ethiopians need to observe the Nations Day.
Based on the research findings, we have seen that most of Ethiopians are desirous to observe the nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day. We have also received questions in this regard too. They need to maximize the nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day as national holiday.